you guys. If I hear any complaining, get out of here.
Which of you was on board when this happened?
I was on the weather side of the boat going underwater, holding my breath.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was on the leeward side of the boat getting blasted with water from behind. So
Wasn't that the 47 knots, you guys?
Yeah.
It was a really good cause to cover all of those boats that don't normally get covered.
This is Nick Douglas for Adventures of a Sailor Girl, keeping you covered for your Rolex Sydney Hobart coverage.
It was like literally probably one of my life highlights.
Yes, I'm an incomplete paraplegic, low down. I had an accident that I don't really talk about anymore because sailing is way more fun.
The guy on the travel lift, and I said, "Do I know you?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I put Maiden in the water 25 years ago, just before the start of the Whitbread." He said, "And he said, I've got again a little bit dusty here today, wiping a tear from his eye." And I said, I'm so thrilled that Maiden means so much to other people and not just me. He said, "It's the Maiden factor," and I went, "I'm going to steal that." If we don't have an equal education system for girls and boys, women will never be equal.
I'm going to read this quote from the movie as well when you won the leg into New Zealand. Girls have to look like this, be like that, be like this, do that. But when you're at sea, you don't have to wash, you don't have to dress properly, you don't have to do your hair. It sounds like being in lockdown.
I love it. I mean, seriously, I have washed my hair for you for the first time in a very long time. And I smell fragrant at the moment as well, but that will not last for long.
Pressure was really on. When we're 3-1 down, we had to, we came back from the dead. Looking back on it, it was like the Anzac spirit. If there's one thing that our country is proud of, it's our ability to fight when our backs are to the wall. Part of the problem, or part of our challenge, is the tall poppy syndrome in Australia, having lived in the US a lot and other parts of the world. And I felt that one of the biggest hurdles that we have as a nation is when people are successful, they try and kind of, they're uncomfortable with success. Hopefully we're growing out of that. If you're in a position to be able to do something that's significant, then why not?
we could continue all night, I'm sure, hearing your beautiful stories and your memories. But again, I just want to reiterate, it's not 7 years that you've served your country or inspired others. It's definitely been a lifetime. And for me, before I was born. So
thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. And what you're doing is terrific for the sport and terrific for sailing. And as I said at the start of this little interview, this whole online thing is just a game changer. So I think it's really, really exciting.
And the answer, of course, is you've just released your 19th book. 19 books.
It's still behind me.
I know, because how many have you written, Bob?
36.
There you go. Oh, Fisher, put that down. That's terrible.
That a tin full of tarts could get round the whole of the Whitbread course.
And Nick, the other great thing about the sport is that it's a fabulous leveler. Doesn't matter who you are, where you've come from, how much money you've got, what success you've had or not had, you're a sailor, and that's all that matters. And I think that's one of the greatest things about our sport is this common bond. No matter where you are in the world, if you're a sailor, you're welcome with open arms.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you. What are you going to do? You've got to go forward.
Well, remember the America's Cup back in even the days of the 12 metre, you remember calling it saying, "Oh, look at that, he's gained 2 metres there."
Now, what is also incredible is that you guys have now agreed twice this evening. I'm very impressed. But
We're getting older. I think that's 4 times now, Fish. I think it's 4 times, Fish. That's a world record.
We're getting older, Rob. That's the trouble.
Oh, yeah. You just want me to buy you some more wine.
I think you'll agree a 4th time is that it was so lovely to have you guys on the show tonight and to see you catching up and to reminisce about so many great times that you've been involved with, and thanks for everything that you've given to sailing. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Nick. You're doing a great job.
Doing my best.
Thank you, Nick.
Trying to follow in your footsteps. Welcome, everybody. Another week of Adventures Weekly. Very excited. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we've had so many shows now. I'm so happy with all of the elements of the sport we've been able to cover, from, you know, photographers, media legends, legends in general like JB. And tonight we have a different aspect of our sport, but one that's equally as important and something that I'm very excited about as well, because I would have been in Mooloolaba right now getting ready for the Etchells Australasian Championships. And I love that regatta. I love it so much. So it's very special who we have on the show tonight. But without further ado, let's bring in the most amazing Tiana Whitty. How are you, Side T? You good?
Hey, Nick. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No, I can't do this without you. You know that. She reminds me to drink water regularly. I can't look after myself. It's horrific.
and eat fruit.
Eat fruit. I just get these little messages throughout the day. I can't have you passing out. Please stay alive. It's very exciting. But I think we're going to just crack on very quickly, T. T will be keeping an eye on the comments section, everybody. So if you've got any questions, anything that you want to add, any feedback, please make sure you pop it in the comments section. And, of course, we'll do our best to cover everything that we can. But it's time for our first segment of the night. T, what's our first segment? This is where
news. The
Here
news.
we go.
Sailing news in 60 seconds-ish.
60 seconds-ish, because there's more news happening as we see restrictions start to ease in some parts of the world. First off, New Zealand exemptions for the America's Cup. There's a lot of push from the American team whose boat did arrive in New Zealand during the week. We were going to have a little chat to Terry Hutchinson, but it looks like he'll now be joining us next week. But they're pushing very hard, given there's been quite a few exemptions made for the cast of Avatar, who are about to start filming the sequel to Avatar. I know that a lot of the America's Cup boat crew, staff, sailors, etc. are looking for similar exemptions. So that's one of the most important news items that we have this week. Second on our agenda, the Volvo Ocean Race / now the Ocean Race. They are meant to be starting early next year. It now looks like there might actually be a postponement. So they're starting to discuss postponements and how they may happen for that race. Maiden. Tracy Edwards has been one of our guests. They have announced during the week that Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Tiana, what movie do you know Jamie Lee Curtis from? Make me feel old.
From Freaky Friday.
From Freaky Friday, right. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis from the amazing movie True Lies, which Tiana hasn't seen, and I'm going to educate her. Jamie Lee Curtis has announced that she's going to be involved with the Maiden program, and she'll be the second voice or ambassador of the program along with Tracy Edwards. So that's really exciting for that Maiden Factor program that is really pushing, increasing the amount of access that females have to education all throughout the world, including the third world. So that's a really amazing program that's come out of sailing and the Maiden Factor. Now, it is World Environment Day today, so quite exciting. Pantanius, as everybody knows, is one of our major sponsors. Well, our major sponsor right now, and we're really lucky that they've chosen to support us all the way through the COVID pandemic as well. But One Ocean, that tour, I'm just going to bring that back up again. It is World Environment Day, and Pantanius is supporting the tour of One Ocean, a film that's also supported by Sea Shepherd. Very exciting. It's all about pollution in the ocean, single-use plastic, microplastic, and so I think it's really great that Pantanius is supporting this film and the launch of it in Australia. And tonight, for our trivia competition, instead of our usual Pantanius prize pack, we're actually going to be giving away 5 free passes to view this film. So that's pretty awesome. T, that's the first time you've heard of that. So we're going to have 5 winners this week who will get a prize pass, and then our first prize winner will also get a prize pack. So that's very, very exciting. Now, next on the news, including along with the theme of World Environment Day, Mark Set Bot. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Mark Set Bot. I have seen them, and maybe our 2 guests will really like this. Actually, I'm just going to see if I can find... I do have some imagery of Mark Set Bot that I can show you guys. Let me just bring it up.
La remise et qui suivra directement le match race. On sera ensemble pour vivre tout ça sur le seawall. So stay on the seawall after the match races.
So that's the first time that I saw Mark Set Bot in action. They're GPS remote controlled marks, and they can hold a GPS position. You can move them to a GPS position without a boat. So that limits the amount of fuel you're using. You don't need to use an anchor. So in places like Varese or in Geneva, where the lake is so deep, they basically just cut the anchor every time they use it. It's a very effective way to be more environmentally friendly. So US Sailing has actually now made a partnership with Markset Bot. And in these times where we're also trying to be socially distant, it's a lot easier to actually get people out racing. So that's a very, very exciting partnership. And I hope that we can see Markset Bot in other locations around the world very, very soon. But it was nice to see them in action at the SailGP in Marseille. That's where I took that vision from. Now, locally in Australia, we do have to say a vale to John Cuneo AM. He did pass away not last night, but the night before. An amazing character in Australian sailing. And I know that a lot in the Queensland area especially will miss him. He was a big part of the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. So all respects to him. Medalist, one of our first, and has a big heritage in sailing as well. His nephew is now actually the Commodore of the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. So our thoughts go out to anybody who knew John Cuneo and especially his family and his loved ones at this time. So many respects to him. Continuing on the theme with Queensland news, it's sounding like Airlie Beach Race Week is going to go ahead, come hell or high water, basically. So Adrian has said, who's helping to organise it. I've been having a little chat to him throughout the week. Southport Yacht Club, one of our favourite venues, was today announced as the Queensland Yacht Club of the Year, as those awards have continued progressing. And as I mentioned, we would have been in Mooloolaba this weekend with two of our guests. Last week it was Volunteer Week, and two of my favourite volunteers, Kevin Wilson, Ross Wilson. Welcome to Adventures Weekly. It's lovely to have you. How are you?
Oh, great to see you, Nick.
Oh, yay! Now yay! I know many people won't know that usually this weekend I actually stay with you guys. We actually stay in the same unit. So we know each other a little bit.
A little bit.
We do. Just a little bit. That's where you're.
Now, Kevin, I might give it away here. We had a bit of a guessing competition on our Instagram story this afternoon. We were saying there was a picture of me with Kevin and a picture of me with Ross. And then we said to everybody, the general public, is this Kevin or Ross? And then, is this Kevin or Ross? Tiana, do we have a results? Were people able to guess? I think T's going to have a little bit of a look. You'll like this, guys. You love your guessing competitions, don't you?
All good.
You know what? People got it right.
People got it right?
What? Yeah, majority were correct. The first person was Kevin, and then we had Ross in the second photo, and yeah, people were right. I'm actually very impressed. 68%.
Fantastic. 68%. Oh, come on. That's just above average.
Yeah.
Well, it's all 50-50, isn't it?
Indeed. Now, for those at home who don't know you guys, Kevin Wilson at the top and Ross Wilson in the middle and the two of them down the bottom of there are two amazing volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers, obviously, in the sport of sailing, but you two are identical twins, for those who haven't guessed.
Yes.
Now, Ross, as the elder twin...
You've got it right, Nick.
I know. What was it like growing up with Kevin as a brother?
Well, actually, that's a good question. But look, the bottom line is we didn't know any difference, because it's always been our life as we've grown up. And, there's so many advantages that we have from growing up together, is that you've always got someone to have a fight with, someone to have a chat with, someone to share your jokes with, and someone to do whatever you're doing, is that you've always got a mate around the place. So, How better could that be? You don't have to go looking for friends. You've already got one next to you.
Literally.
Literally.
Yes, you two are basically inseparable. But what many won't know, actually, Kevin, I believe you were the skipper when you were growing up.
Well, you're right, Nick. Ross always wanted to be first over the start line, over the finish line, so I steered it because I was always second.
But you guys grew up at Black Rock Yacht Club, so technically Victorian, and we won't hold it against you.
Well, we can go back a bit further, Nick. We started at Lake Australasian Yacht Club up in the northwest of Victoria.
Wow.
Up near Mildura. And we didn't get down to Black Rock until we got the Sharpies down here in 69, I think it was. We started selling the Sharpies. So we had rainbows, but we're up in the northwest of Victoria at Lake Australasian. And we were both original members of the yacht club up there. So that sort of takes us back to, that was back 50s or late 50s.
And so you sailed the Sharpie, Ross. Did you always sail together?
Well, Nick, we did for a long, long time, back up until about 1980, and it was only after 1980 where Kevin decided he'd had enough of me and he wanted someone else up front. He thought he might be we've gone close to winning an Australian Sharpie title, won a couple of Victorian ones, but anyway, so he got a good mate of his, Legacy, to go up front, and he put a new boat, Flying United, and I then bought another Sharpie and sailed, and then we got back sailing together back in 1990, and then 96, and then 2000. I think 2000 was our last Sharpie Nationals, but we're both life members of the Australian Sharpie Association and the Victorian Sharpie Association, and I guess that we're known as legends within the Sharpie world.
Oh, you're known of legends generally, but yes, we'll also go within the Sharpie world. Oh, excellent. So 2000, that's an interesting year, because for those who don't know what else you're involved with, and I don't know how anybody couldn't know what else you're involved with. I mean, you guys are very important parts of a lot of the regattas in Australia, but for those who are watching internationally, you're also now PROs, or principal race officers, some of the most respected in the country. And in 2000, you were both integral parts of the 2000 Olympics.
Yeah, look, and what a sensational Olympics, Sydney was. No one could ever say that you'd ever have a better regatta than Sydney. And we talk stories. I was just with a couple of Sharpie legends today as well for lunch, but go back to Sydney, and you take that 470, 2 golds for the girls, and I was running those particular events, and to listen to the noise on Sydney Harbour when Tom and Mark won that regatta, but even before that, when Jenny and B used to stay with me back here in Melbourne, wow. But when they won gold as well, that was just something really personal, and same with the blokes. But no one could ever go better than a Sydney Olympics. It was just something super, super, super.
How fantastic. And I think, Kevin, did you decide to be a race officer before Ross, or was it the other way around?
Well, no, you're right, Nick. You're right. Because we all started off, back at the Rock, and I was initiating and being a national judge. I went up with Tony Mooney and myself and Hatchie, went around Australia teaching race management. And then we went up to Sydney, and just about 96, 97, look at what was up there. And of course we were tied up with our 470 people back at the Rock, because we had about 20 plus 470s racing out of Black Rock, and that's when Jenny and Addie and co were. So we put a lot of training with them. so it was sort of moving up to Sydney and then working with the Sydney people back from post 96 onwards. And then we went up there and being a national judge and then a national race officer, and it all went from there. Ross joined the fray, and we both got involved with the Sydney Olympics. So it was very exciting times. And post then, we had the decision about world sailing, or back then it was ISAC. So I took on the instructing part of it, and Ross took on the officiating with the subcommittee with ISAF. So we have been very much involved, the organisation from Australia and internationally since 2000.
And we've been lucky to have you both. I mean, 24/70s at Blackrock. No wonder we were so strong back in the heyday, but we've continued to be strong in that class. And you guys have continued to be involved with race management. I mean, there isn't somebody who sails an Etchell in Australia or has been involved with the Australian Yachting Championship or Airlie Beach Race Week that doesn't know who you guys are. So Ross, I mean, you tend to be, I mean, you take it in turns, but especially with the Etchells, Ross, you tend to be on the start line with Kevin at the top mark, and we've seen the way that you work, and Dad and I personally, because we've sailed in the Taser class and been lucky enough to have you as our ROs. Do you think because of how close you are, that's what makes you such a good race management team?
Well, that's very interesting, Nick, because I mean, what makes a good race management team is actually good communication, a good team around you, and Kevin and I really do have a unique understanding and have a bit of a listen, and it does great for race management, and I think that's probably it's great for the enjoyment of those people out sailing at the same time.
And I think that's where sailors can make incredible race officers like yourself, because as you said, you're only as good as the team around you, and it's the same when you're sailing on a boat, isn't it, Kev?
It absolutely is. It's not worse than a boat when you got a couple of average people sitting on board with you. So, as you would know, Nick, I'm sure Rob will tell you that too. He probably just loves you there because you understand what you're doing. But that's very true. You've got to have people that can work together, and you were talking to John last week with the America's Cup and the amount of effort that they put into it, and that would never happen without teamwork that they put together. It's the same. It's all sport. It doesn't matter whether we're sailing or football or as soon as you put a team sport, it is everyone that's got to be on the same page with the same objectives, and it's sort of just moving forward. True. And it's very important that that we all understand and work that way.
Absolutely, and that's where I think we should give a bit of a shout out to all of the other people that volunteer around Australia and the world as well to help make our sport happen, including both of your lovely wives who put up with you travelling around the country to help us all get out on the racetrack. They get you to the racetrack so that we can get to the racetrack.
Yeah, well, actually, can sit in the office of registration and a lot of other stuff back behind us. No show without punch. So, they get involved, especially Airlie Beach Race Week and also some of the Etchell events. So,
they're basically your shore crew, aren't they, Ross? They make sure there's red wine ready to go at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of good things they do, Nick, and it wouldn't be the same without them. And
no.
I mean, it doesn't matter what regatta we go to, as they're part of the regatta anyway. And I mean, we always go up because it's a funny thing is a lot of the regattas where it's a little bit warmer, and you got to get out of the Melbourne cold. So I mean, why not?
Absolutely.
So they love it. Yeah.
I miss you guys terribly this weekend. But on that note, I'm going to go to an interview that I did with the two of you when we were at Airlie Beach Race Week in 2017. As of course, we're all hoping that from New South Wales and Victoria that we can get up there in the next few months. So I thought I'd play this interview with the two of you where it's a little bit sunnier and a little bit warmer, and it'll give us a little 4-minute break from our own voices as well. What do you reckon?
Go.
Here we go.
Yeah,
This is Nick Douglas for Adventures of a Sailor Girl in beautiful Airlie Beach, though we don't have wind. Again, well, not consistent breeze, Ross.
No, look, it's been an absolutely frustrating morning so far, and we're hoping to get some this afternoon, but let's look, for those that wait, it may come.
Yep, exactly. Patience is a virtue, and yesterday patience paid off because we had a 2-hour delay and then some beautiful breeze in the afternoon, Kev.
Well, some might say it was beautiful, others will say it was a little bit
Challenging?
light, challenging for those caravans on water, but at the end of the day we had everyone got around the racetrack. We did a shortened course for all the classes at either Mark 1 or Mark 2 to try and get their finish in within the time limit. A couple of them missed their time limit, but it was a nice day in the water.
It was an absolutely beautiful day on the water, and I even spotted some people swimming off the race committee boat, Ross. That's not often done.
No, well, actually, it's not unusual to be up here at Airlie when you've got a few, because that race committee boat's got a lot of people on, and they do make the lunches out there as well, and as soon as they've got the sitting around, those people have been, they've got nothing else to do because they're not part of the actual race management team. Yeah. They're the caterers. So they jumped in the water and had a great swim, and I caught a shark while I was actually swimming around, so that was even better. But unfortunately, I couldn't land it in the boat; it was too big.
I love that you went fishing while we were waiting for wind as well. That's fantastic. Now, for those who think they're seeing double, you guys are related, and two of our most finest race officers, and you've been coming to Airlie Beach for a little while.
We have Nick. Yes, about 2003 was my first time up here for race management. And every year since then, so it's just one of those pilgrimages that we have during winter. Get out of Melbourne and come up here and have a bit of fun in the sun, and that's what it's all about at Airlie Beach.
And even when there's no wind, it's absolutely stunning, as those might be able to see behind us, and they're probably jealous as well. But you've been coming since 2000. You got him onto a good thing.
Oh, look, just after the Olympics in 2000, I've been up here, and you know, Sue and I, we've been coming up here because we love holidaying up here, and once you've been up here in the Whitsunday Sailing Club, very, very accommodating, a brilliant little spot, and yeah, and they serve cold beer as well, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, the beer's cold, but we're not, Nick. We're not cold. Look, it's about 28 degrees or something today, and the sun is beautifully shining. As we've said, just a very, very light breeze, which I don't think we will have enough to get a race away, but anyway, the decision will be made at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. You may not be able to see it, guys, behind us, but literally the thermal is about at the end of the moorings, and then it's just glass all the way to Hamo, apparently.
That's about right, and we've got every person around wishing that those that want the breeze go sailing, they really want it to come in. And it'd be nice to get a good 10 knots plus in, but anyway, look, we'll wait around and hopefully we will get a race in.
Yeah, there's definitely an amazing team putting in the hard yards behind. You guys have said you love coming here for the location and the venue, but I know that a lot of people love coming here because of the amazing race officials and volunteers that are involved with this regatta.
Well, yeah. A lot of them do, Nick, yes. A lot of them do. We just do our little bit and, you know, and help the club and put our 2 bobs worth in where it's needed. But there is a great race management team led by Dennis Thompson, and Chizo's here as the race officer. And we're all here to support the team, and that's what it's about, a good team effort.
Yeah, and the best of the best in one of the best locations in Australia too. So it's lovely to see you again, boys, and thanks for everything you do for sailing in Australia. Hey?
And Nick, well done on coming third in the World Taser Championships.
Thank you.
That was a great effort. Sorry you didn't win it, but you did.
Next time.
Next time.
Next time. Wasn't as good as... Let's fade that out there. We didn't want to talk about when we came third. That was a while ago. But yeah, we've had a lovely regatta with you guys at Airlie Beach as well in the Taser, which was fantastic. I've shared a few Airlie Beach race weeks with you as well. Then Tiana, this weekend would have been the Mooloolaba Australasian Etchells champs. Tiana, when did you win in Mooloolaba?
I think it was like 2013.
There you go.
Yeah. It was so fun. I was so cold. But
How old
your
were
radio
you?
chat got me through it. If it was 2013 or maybe it was 2015, I was 14 or 15 years old.
I think it was 2015 because I think I sailed that one.
Okay, so then I was 15 or 16 then.
Yeah, I was sailing with Clarkie, and you beat me.
And we had to wear the yellow jerseys when we were winning. It was so fun.
Awesome. Good memories. But
amazing memories.
What I'm going to ask you two to do now, and I just have to say we've had so many shout outs on social media just thanking you for your service and saying what legends you are, not just on the water but off the water. Amazing gentlemen. Obviously they've not gotten to meet you later on in the evening. Just kidding. No. But we might move on. If you don't mind, would you guys mind helping us with our trivia competition that we have every week? We're just going to go through the questions and the answers. Would you like to help?
Go for it.
We'll see how you go with our trivia. This week we have it themed on the history of sailing, effectively. Now Tiana puts this together for me every week. It's one of her jobs. I'm educating her on the history of sailing every week. She's had to Google.
I'm learning so much.
She didn't know who Tracy Edwards was. She knew who John Bertram was because she's raced against him and beaten him. But
at Mooloolaba.
Yeah. But did not know about Australia too. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I'm
it?
getting better and better each week. I'm
You
a much
are.
more rounded person now.
I got a video.
Have you got video, Ross?
I did the video when John won that last race. I've got it still on a VCR.
Oh, do you?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's worth money. I'll buy it off you.
It's not for sale. It's just one of those little. I mean, you could read JB's book, but the video and that crossing that line, coming down that last leg. I mean, the last 40 minutes of that race was just nail biting. It was really, really something special. Yeah.
This one, it's on my desk.
Yeah, you got to read it twice or 3 times.
I've read it
because
way
you
more.
I've read it 3 times, and I still get something out of it every time I've read it. So it's an easy read, but it's a good book.
Dad and I have covered this one in plastic. Look.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's a bit die-hard, isn't
They'll
it?
keep it for a long time.
Indeed.
I might have to borrow that, Nick.
You want to borrow it? No worries.
Yeah, is that okay?
I'll give it to you the weekend that I teach you to sail a laser.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you believe this, guys? She doesn't know how to sail a laser, and Nev Whitty's her father. This needs to be corrected.
Well,
wow.
that's nothing more on, isn't it?
Indeed. All right, let's go through the trivia. So the first question. Dun, 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 dun. And guys, you're allowed to guess. Where did sailing for sport originate? A, Belgium, B, Holland, C, France or Marseille, and D, Croatia. What do you think?
I'd have a guess at B.
Kev says B. Russ?
I say, if in doubt, you don't know, go see.
You're going C. Alrighty. Kevin is correct. B, Holland. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, they had to get out of there somewhere, didn't they?
Indeed. Get us out of here. I have never been cold. Speaking of your Mooloolaba win, I have never been so cold on a boat, also sailing with JC, in Holland. That's the coldest I've ever been in my life. Without a doubt.
Well, then, stick to the Whitsundays.
I will. Don't you worry. I'm old enough now. I can just say no. Fair weather sailor. Alrighty. When is it thought that sailing first became a sport? Obviously in Holland. A, the 15th century. B, the 16th century. C, the 17th century. Or D, the 18th century.
Well, the Olympics, it was first in the Olympics in 1900.
Ooh. Good guess.
Or I think the first, somewhere around that, so got to be late.
I'm going to give you a hint. If in doubt,
Go see.
Go see. 17th century.
Always go see if in doubt. Yeah.
100%. Alrighty. Which club is the oldest yacht club in the world? A, Royal Natal Yacht Club. B, Bay of Quinte Yacht Club. C, Royal Gibraltar Yacht Club. Or D, the Royal Cork Yacht Club. That was my go at an Irish accent, if you didn't get it.
Oh, well, it was very good. Actually, the oldest one.
Russ says
I'll
Cork.
probably go.
Yeah, Cork.
I'll go Cork too, I think.
Correct. Yay.
There we are.
All right, and you should all get the next question. How many people got this question wrong, T? Who said?
Thankfully, people were paying attention to this one. Not too many people got it wrong, but some people did choose Kevlar, unfortunately.
What were sails originally made of? A, polyester. B, Kevlar. C, flax or cotton canvas. Or D, carbon. If anyone said Kevlar or carbon, you deserve a whack over the head.
That's right. It had to be C.
If in doubt, go see.
Indeed. C.
Flax or cotton. We had some of those sails out of cotton.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty. Now, where was the modern rig that we see on most developed boats designed? A, Bermuda. B, Holland. C, the UK. Or D, Egypt.
It was a modern rig, Bermuda rig.
Aha.
Well, it was Bermuda rig, so it's got to be Bermuda.
Correct. The Bermuda rig. A. Kevin, you're smashing it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, comes with the terminology, doesn't it? The old Bermuda rig.
Indeed, yes. I was really lucky to learn that when I was in Bermuda, and the reason why they had to develop that rig was because they had to go upwind. So to get from one end of the island to the other, the wind nearly always blows the same way. So they had to go upwind one way. So they called it going down the road, up the road. And to get up the road, they needed a Bermuda rig. So, yeah, very exciting. Now, Ross, you've got this one in the bag. When was sailing first a part of the Olympic Games? 1896 Athens, 1900 Paris, 1904 Missouri, or 1908 London?
Australia was first, I think, in 1900, but the first Olympics, I think, was Athens in
Sailing. When was sailing? You already said it.
1900.
Indeed. 1900 Paris was the first Olympics where sailing was involved.
That's a good trivia question.
Great trivia question. And interestingly, 2024, it will be back in Paris. So that's the next one. I'm really hoping that Tokyo happens, but it'll be Tokyo 2020 if it happens. So, are you guys meant to go to Tokyo?
No, I'm staying in Australia.
Fair enough. Sounds good to me. So the next question, and you should get this one too. How many sailing disciplines are currently a part of the Olympic Games? A, 8, B, 10, C, 4, D, 6.
Well, I'm going Bravo 10. There's 10 in there.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Lovely. 10. Now, based
and
on...
I did 3 Olympics, 3 Paralympics.
Wow.
2000, 2008 and 2012. And the Paralympics in 2000 and 2008 and 2012. And the Youth Olympics in 2010.
How special is that? I mean,
that's just something for the memory banks, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did the boards, the RSXs, in London. They were a pretty exciting little. At least something was happening with them all the time.
Aren't they incredible athletes? And
they are sensational, yeah.
If people haven't seen them in real life, please watch the RSXs. They work so hard when there's no wind. It is mind-blowing.
Yeah, they're called the wind whackers, so they've got to be the wind whackers. So they've got to be good.
Indeed, they do. Now, the next question, because we are going to have Terry Hutchinson on the show next week. He's representing the New York Yacht Club with American Magic in the next America's Cup, continuing on with our America's Cup theme for the past few weeks. So, what was the name of the last New York Yacht Club team that was in the final of the America's Cup? A, Liberty. B, Stars and Stripes. C, Team USA. Or D, Freedom.
You talking the America's Cup that was just gone?
Well, in general, when was the last New York Yacht Club representative team in the final, and what was their name? Think about it.
Yeah, well, the last one wasn't New York Yacht Club, was it?
No.
That was San Fran, and Stars and Stripes was the registered name for
Dennis
Connor,
Connor,
wasn't it?
and that was San Diego.
That's right. So I'm going to go Team USA.
I'll go Liberty.
Correct,
Well,
Ross.
I'm going Liberty.
Correct. So the last New York
Liberty-
Yacht Club representative to make the final, was
final.
Liberty.
Yeah.
And they were beaten by JB on Australia too. So
They were.
isn't that
83.
incredible? Yeah. So
Gee,
we'll
time goes, isn't it?
goes so fast. And we'll have Terry Hutchinson on the show next week. So there have been other representatives of New York Yacht Club, but nobody has made the final since Liberty. So, well,
I
obviously
remember
Liberty
Bob
were the
Hawke.
defender. So, yeah.
When Bob Hawke said, all those bosses that if you want to, with your staff not going to work, his famous words, I was one of those. We watched the final and then we went to the pub and celebrated.
Unbelievable. Well, you know,
Oh,
you guys are really good friends with JB as well.
Yes.
And so following on from that show, and for everybody who's watching, we had a question up on our social media, which was, where were you when Australia 2 won the America's Cup? And we had so many responses. It was overwhelming, from the comments on the actual show to that question. So we've actually put together a webpage, and we're going to continue to ask that. If anybody wants to send us their answer at any time, and we're just building a webpage of where people were when Australia 2 won the America's Cup, and I want to send it to all the people who were sailing on Australia 2.
I taped it, but I think mine was at Y&J in Melbourne, Young and
Wow.
Jackson's in Melbourne.
We'll have to add you to our list of people. But I just think it's something that people do remember, and it's been unbelievable the past few shows, just how everything sort of links back to that. Rob Mundell and Bob Fisher both said that is a standout moment in sailing history. And Bob Fisher's a pom, so, you know. Love you, Bob!
But when they went through that finishing line, that was just something that was special when they went through that finishing line and the gun went. You need to listen to the tape and whatever. That is something really special.
We played some of the footage. The ABC gave me their footage from when the finish happened, and we played it while JB was on air, which you may have seen. And watching him off screen was really lovely. He was reliving it, and that was something that was pretty special. So the next question, and if anybody didn't answer all of the above, I'll smack them. What would sailing not exist without? A, wind, B, boats, C, volunteers, or D, all of the above? Tiana, some people said boats.
Yeah, one person said boats, and she's not wrong. Yeah.
But she's not
41
completely
people said
correct.
wind. No, the answer is D, all of the above.
Yeah.
All the above. Absolutely.
All of the above.
Yes.
That's not one of those trick questions, is it? You got to read the question first to understand what they want.
Oh, I mean,
yes.
How could you have
Exactly.
sailing without wind or boats or volunteers, really?
Oh, that's right. But Robbie Lamb, who's one of the international ROs, said, Ross, always read the question and read it twice or three times to make sure that you actually understand what they're asking, because it is so easy to say something that, but then that one applies to it, then that one applies to it, all of the above, yes.
Indeed. And I'm going to mention something here which was quite fun too, speaking about the question. Before this show today, I actually got to do a briefing with you guys, which was very exciting for me. So everybody listen, I'm doing the briefing. That was a highlight. You guys are very big on your briefings. Well, for me anyway.
Lovely, Nick.
Excellent. All right, now the last question. This one's a bit of a trick question to see if we can separate people. Tiana, how many people got this correct before I read it out?
29 people got this correct.
And how many people took part this week?
So there were 2,000 participants.
2,000
overall.
participants. 29 people got it correct. What was the name of the New York Yacht Club defending boat in the 1887 America's Cup? And have a little bit of a think about the theme for this week. Was it A, Mayflower, B, Vigilant, C, Volunteer, or D?
It had to be volunteer, Nick.
Indeed! Defender! Aha!
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Indeed, it was Volunteer, because I knew that I was going to have you guys on the show. For anybody watching, if you're playing trivia, I've usually got a trick question, but there's a connection to the theme of the show. Just a heads up there. So, team, we will have had a winner.
Yes, our winner this week was Tag Team Racing.
Awesome. Congratulations, Tag Team Racing. They will get an amazing prize pack, but we also have our One Ocean tickets. So that's very exciting. They'll get to watch on the streaming platform. They'll be live on Monday night. So five of our winners, the 5 top, we'll take and we'll pop them through a message. So congratulations to our winner though, because they'll be put on the list with all of our other winners. We're up to 11 weeks now. Because we
I know, it just seems like my normal Friday night.
11 weeks. Yeah. So we've had a winner every week. So boys, to start with, we had a video of the week competition. And so the winner of each of those and the winner of then what turned into our trivia competition will all go into a hat in December, and we'll have a Christmas or / Rolex Sydney Hobart draw. So that'll be fun.
Now, what about the question out from the left side? Are the Etchells Worlds going to take place over in Perth in November?
I have not heard either way, gentlemen. I mean, you probably are a little bit more inside on the goss than I am. I think the last whisper was that they might be postponed by 12 months. But speaking of Perth, we have had a question asked about the International 14 Worlds.
Yeah,
oh,
lovely.
yes.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that regatta? Because there's a lot of fans who said that that was one of the best regattas of their lives.
Well, Nick, as a race officer, that one, why I think it was the best one, with 60-odd 14s on the Swan River with nice breezes, not doctor, but good sailing breezes, and it was just a lovely racetrack. You know, it was 14s at their best. We had one up pressure day, which Brad Devine won by the local won by about 5 minutes. Probably wish he had more of that, but it was just a fantastic. You know, the yacht club was, you know, they accommodated everyone, and the team out on the racetrack. It was great. You know, going up to Brick Landing, putting their kites up, coming back down to the Hallmark or where the committee boat was, back up. Lovely racetrack, and a fantastic event to be involved with. It was, just cool. Just great fun, and the social life was fantastic as well. Real 14 stuff.
That's fantastic. Now, given that you guys have been involved with so many regattas, Ross, is there anything that you want to do? Do you have something on your wish list?
Yes, the Simpson Desert sometime in May next year, maybe.
Wow!
And going the top route, not going the busy route, going the top route.
Fantastic.
But no, that's, and I'd love to go across to Kimberley Coast, to sail across to Kimberley's. that'd be really good. But I've done a lot of the other stuff. So they're the two. The Simpson Desert on the Magellan, I think it's the Magellan track, and the Kimberley Coast would be really nice.
Oh, you guys get to cruise a lot, don't you? You spend all your time after Early Beach Race Week cruising north, don't you?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, just north around Cape Gloucester and different parts of Airlie, but no, it's all good up there, and spend a month or 2 months, 3 months, and then get back to back to Melbourne for the summer.
Indeed. Ross, are you guys heading north this year? Will you go regardless?
Hey, Nick, don't tell anyone, but everything's packed up. The boats are all ready to go. The car's ready to go. And soon we can get through New South Wales. We've just got to get through that Queensland border.
And then you can spend all your time up there.
Absolutely. Once we get through that Queensland border, we're done.
Sounds fantastic.
Queensland, here we come.
And we should give a shout out to Mooloolaba right now, because I'm sure that if we could have, we would have been there this weekend, wouldn't we?
Oh, we would have. I said to Warren, who's the organiser up there, I said, I've got my plane ticket and we're landing in the Sunshine Coast. And he said, well, Ross, you won't be because the airport's closed. I was having a joke with him, but never mind.
Yeah, I know.
No, we all miss that one. We do miss Mooloolaba. I mean, it's been part of the Etchells for so long. And let's bring it on for next year, bigger and better.
Indeed. That would be fantastic. Well, I think we're going to sign off with you lovely gentlemen now. Thank you so much for everything that you and your amazing volunteer teams have given to sailing, not only in Australia but globally, when you've done various international regattas, Olympics and whatnot. And we're very lucky to have you and so many other volunteers really making our sport what it is. Sailing just wouldn't be the same without you. And the banter.
And that's great, Nick. And thanks for what you're doing, for getting it all out there. It's fantastic.
I am
you've done
trying.
an excellent job. And thanks for you, Tiana.
Oh, she's doing such a great job. I'm so proud of her.
Good.
Now I am.
I'm waiting for Tiana for her next race to beat you the next time.
Oh,
Tiana,
well, maybe this is where I have to announce. I haven't actually announced this yet, but given we've spoken about Queensland so much, and Rob Douglas is standing just over there, so Dad is leaving tomorrow with my mum, heading north to go to the Queensland border, and a special little brand new boat called a VX1 will be delivered on a truck over the border from the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron to my dad.
Well, that's great.
Nick, you can launch it in the Tweeder and navigate just way up into Queensland, right?
I know, exactly. Like, we'll sail to Airlie. No. Yeah, but the New South Wales State Championships are in September at Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club. And I believe it will be Dad on the back, me in the middle, and one named Tiana Whitty on the front.
Oh, lovely. Well, Tiana, you're going to win because you're first across the finishing line.
Well, that's what I said. When they gave me the option, I said I'll take Bow because I'll be first over the line.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Tiana, you can just do a Ross, be the far hand and be first across the line.
Indeed. So see, look, I've learned if she's going to beat me, I may as well just put her in front of me.
That's good.
That'll be fun. So that's a new adventure for the Douglas team too. So that'll be really good.
Excellent. Good. Well, all the best for that, Nick.
Indeed.
We'll be looking at the results.
Thank you very much.
Let's get Rob out there, get him at the gym, working hard.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
No, but it's been really great to have you, and thanks for all the race officering you've done for us too. I just have to tell a little story about guessing between the two of you. And Tiana, do you know who's who yet?
Yeah, Kevin's at the top and Ross is in the middle.
Because I'm really lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. I can tell you apart. I've never had any issues telling you apart. I think you're very different personalities. to be sure.
That's
but
what Mother said.
But there've been many guessing competitions between the two of you over the years, and I recall one that our good friend Alistair Murray used to do with the two of you.
Oh, yes.
The one up at Thailand, up at Phuket, up at Pranwa.
Yes. So
yes.
I've seen you two come to regattas with one wearing red Crocs, one wearing blue Crocs, and then halfway through the regatta you swap, and then on the last day of the regatta you're wearing one each. You don't make it easy.
Cheeky.
No, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge, Nick. It's a challenge.
But in Cape Panwa, my favourite was your lovely wife, Sue Ross, and your lovely wife, Glenys Kevin. They were both blindfolded, and a shout out to them again, sending them lots of kisses. They were both blindfolded and asked to feel each of your behinds and
they got it wrong.
And nominate who was who, and they both got it wrong.
Yes, they did. That just must mean we must be fairly similar.
In that part, anyway.
You're right.
Good banter, and a shout out to Al Murray. I haven't seen him for ages as well. But
He's good.
Yeah, that's good. I'll have to see him. But you guys stay on the line. I'm going to have a chat to you once we wrap up. But thank you, everybody. Next week at 10 a.m. Aussie time, which will be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have Terry Hutchinson, who is the current CEO of American Magic, the next entry for the America's Cup from the New York Yacht Club, along with the themes that we've had of the past few weeks. We've had so many questions coming through for Terry already. We did put the question form up on our story today, so no doubt there'll be a lot of interested parties for that one. But thank you again, you two. Enjoy your beverages, and we'll see you at a regatta somewhere soon.
You will. Look forward to it, Nick.
Fantastic. Thank you to you.
Thank you, T.
Thank you, T. And thank you to all of the volunteers around the country and around the world making sailing the amazing sport that it is. See you later, everybody.